just admitted that he's responsible for the girl's condition, and now he's telling us that he supplied us with money from my office.
Eric, you stole money?
No, not really. I meant to pay it back.
We've heard that story before. How are you going to pay it back?
I'd have managed somehow. I needed the money.
I don't understand how you could take as much as that out of the office without somebody knowing.
There were some small accounts to collect, and I asked for cash.
Gave the firm's receipts and kept the money, eh?
Yes.
You must give me an account of the money you stole. I've got to cover this up as soon as possible. You damned fool! Why didn't you come to me when you found yourself in this mess?
Because you're not the kind of father a son can go to when he's in trouble. That's why.
Don't talk to me like that. Your trouble is you've been spoiled.
And my trouble is that I haven't much time. I want to get on. Just one last question, Eric. The girl discovered the money you were giving her was stolen, didn't she?
Yes. And that was the worst of it. She wouldn't take any more stolen money. And she didn't want to see me again. Here, bud. How did you know that? Did she tell you?
No, she told me nothing. I never even spoke to her.
She told Mother. Sheila. Well, he has to know.
She told you? Did she come here? But then she couldn't have. She didn't even know I lived here. What happened? Don't just look at me like that. Tell me what happened.
I'll tell you. She went to your mother's committee for help after she'd done with you. Your mother refused that help.
Then, you killed her. She came to you to protect me, and you turned her away. You killed her. Yes, and the child she'd have had too. My child. Your own grandchild. You killed them both, damn you. Damn you.
But I didn't know. I didn't understand.
You don't understand anything. You never did. You never even tried.
Eric, don't.
Why, you hysterical young fool? Get back or else.
Stop! And wait a moment and listen to me. This girl killed herself and died of a horrible death. But each of you have to kill her. Remember that. Never forget it. Remember what you did, Mrs. Birling. You turned her away when she most needed help. Refused even a little bit of pitiable charity you had in your power to grant her. Remember what you did.
I'm not likely to forget.
Just use it for the end of a stupid drunken night. As if she was an animal, a thing, not a person. No, you won't forget.
I know. I had her turned out of a job. I started it.
You helped, but didn't start it. You started it. She wanted 25 shillings a week instead of 22 shillings and 6 pence. You made her pay a heavy price for that. And now she'll make you pay a heavier price still.
Look, Inspector, I give thousands. Yes, thousands.
You're offering the money at the wrong time, Mr. Birling. No, I don't think any of you will ever forget. Know that young man, Croft, although he showed some affection for her and made her happy for a time. Well, Evangelos is gone. You can't do any more harm now. But you can't do any more good now, either. You can't even say, I'm sorry, Evangelos.
That's the worst of it.
But just remember this. One Evangelos is gone, but there are millions and millions and millions of Evangelos and John Smiths still left with us, with their lives and hopes, their fears and sufferings, their chance of happiness, all intertwined with our lives, with what we think and say and do. We don't live on our own. We are members of one body. We are responsible for each other. And I tell you that the time will come when if men will not learn that lesson, then they will be taught it in fire and blood and anguish. Good night.
You're the one I blame for this.
I'll bet I am.
And you don't even realize yet all that you've done. Most of this is bound to come out. There'll be a public scandal.
Well, I don't care now.
You don't seem to care about anything. But I care. I was almost certain for a knighthood on the next
Oh,
honors list.
for God's sake. What does it matter now if they give you a knighthood or not?
Doesn't matter to you. Apparently nothing matters to you. But it might interest you to know that until every penny of the money you stole has been repaid, you will work for nothing. And there is going to be no more of this drinking around town, and no more of this picking up women at the palace bar.
I should think not. absolutely ashamed of you.
Well, I don't blame you. But don't forget, I'm ashamed of you too. Yes, both of you.
Drop that. There's every excuse for what both your mother and I did. It turned out unfortunately, that's all.
That's all.
Well, what do you have to say?
I don't even know where to begin.
Then don't begin. Nobody wants you to.
I behaved badly too. I know I did, and I'm ashamed of it. But now you're beginning to pretend all over again that nothing much has happened.
Nothing much has happened. Haven't I already said? There'll be a public scandal, and who here will suffer from that more than I will?
But that's not what I'm talking about. I don't care about that. The point is, you don't seem to have learned anything.
Oh, don't I? You are quite wrong there. I have learned plenty tonight, and you do not want me to tell you what I've learned, I hope. When I think back on tonight, when I think about how I felt when the 5 of us sat down at that table for dinner.
Yes! And do you remember what you said to Gerald and me after that dinner? When you were feeling so pleased with yourself. You told us that a man has to find his own way, look after himself, and mind his own business. And that we weren't to take any notice of these cranks who tell us that everybody has to look after everybody else, as if we were all mixed up together. And then the inspector walked in. I didn't notice you telling him that it's every man for himself.
Is that when the inspector came? Right after Father had said that?
Yes, what of it?
Now what's the matter, Sheila? It's queer, very queer.
Now who's this? Had I better go?
No, Edna will go. I told her to wait up to make us some tea.
It might be Gerald coming back.
All right, yes, I'd forgotten all about him.
So it's Mr. Croft.
You have to mind my coming back.
No, of course not, Gerald.
I had a special reason for coming. When did the inspector go? Only a few minutes ago. He put us all through it.
Sheila.
Gerald might as well know.
Now, we needn't bother him with all that stuff.
All right. But we're all in it, up to the neck. It got worse after you left. How did he behave? He was frightening.
If you ask me, he behaved in a very suspicious and peculiar manner.
Yes. The rude way he spoke to Mr. Birling, it was quite extraordinary.
You know something, what is it?
That man wasn't a police officer.
What?
Are you certain?
I'm almost certain. That's what I came back to tell you.
You asked about him, eh? Good lad.
Yes. I met a police sergeant I know down the road. I asked him about this Inspector Goole and described the chap carefully to him. He swore there wasn't any inspector at all like the chap who came here.
And you didn't tell him?
No. I passed it off by saying I've been having an argument with somebody. But the point is, the sergeant was dead certain there wasn't any Inspector Goole on the poster.
By dingo, a fake.
Didn't I tell you? Didn't I say I couldn't imagine any real police officer talking like that to us?
Well, you're right. There isn't any such inspector. We've been had.
I am going to make certain of this.
What are you going to do?
Ring up the Chief Constable, Colonel Roberts.
Careful what you say, dear.
Of course. Bromley 8752. I was going to do this anyhow. I've had my suspicions all along. Hello. Colonel Roberts, please. Mr. Arthur Birling here. Oh, Roberts. Birling here. Yes, sorry to ring you up this late, but can you tell me if an Inspector Goole has joined your staff lately? Goole. Goole. New man. Tall, clean-shaven. Yes, I see. Well, that settles it. No, just a little argument we were having here. Good night. There is no Inspector Goole on the police. That man wasn't a police inspector at all. As Gerald said, we've been had.
I felt it all the time.
You never talk.
He never talked like one. Never even looked like one.
This makes a difference, you know. In fact, it makes all the difference.
Of course.
I suppose we're all nice people now.
It doesn't alter the fact that we all helped to kill her.
But is it